I do want to tell y'all some though, bro. On God, listen. Obviously, like, Priz knows about this situation. Cuff him, Cheeser, we spoke. I ain't gonna lie, chat. They up KPP so bad. Listen to this, bro. Literally, I got told yesterday, unless I'm gambling on stake, they are not upping my KCIP. So motherfuckers don't even care about Kick no more. I'm just being real.
So check this out. Everything people said about Kick is starting to unfold right in front of everyone's eyes. Adin Ross has been acting like he might leave Kick forever, doing this back and forth dance every time negotiations heat up. First, he dipped out of the parent company behind Stake, the same group that bankrolls Kick, and suddenly slid over to Rain, another streaming platform popping up in the mix. But here's the twist. He was still streaming on Kick while rocking with Rain at the same time, and Rain is the one throwing money at his events now, even the brand risk show that used to be backed heavy by Kick and Stake. That switch alone had people raising eyebrows like something wasn't adding up. Leading up to announcing his new deal, Adin kept teasing everyone like he was playing a game. One minute he says, "Yo, I might go to Twitch." Then out of nowhere, he changes his tone like, "Nah, I've done a lot with Kick, and even with this new deal, they told me they'll still show me love," sounding like everything was all good behind the scenes. But now, it's looking spicy because he's clearly not feeling how Kick has been treating him lately. The vibe switched up fast, and the energy he's giving now is way different from what he was saying before. Something definitely cracked behind the curtain, and it's showing loud. So Adin Ross is out here talking about sliding back to Twitch, and things are getting real interesting. His last brand risk episode went down in Nashville, and he pulled up on a private jet like he was living in a movie. That jet life is the one thing about him that really makes people nervous because it looks like he's burning through money fast, and nobody actually knows what his bank account is built like. Adin has been flying private non-stop, sending jets for himself and for other people even when it makes 0 sense. And that's the part that has everybody like, bro, why? Flying from Nashville to Miami on a jet sounds wild enough, but thinking about the price compared to something like Miami to New York or Miami to LA, that's a whole different level of spending. I'm not in that tax bracket at all, so I'm just watching like this is serious business. This clip right here is his most recent moment talking about it, and honestly, it feels like he might be dead serious about switching over. The twist is, he hasn't streamed on Twitch yet, but if he did, that stream would explode instantly. Adin would pull at least 30 to 50,000 viewers easy, because no matter how messy things get, he still draws attention. Some people keep saying, yo, he used to average 100K, and yeah, that's true, but things changed. The internet moves fast, and numbers don't stay frozen in time. Adin is still just as famous as he was back then, but that doesn't mean he has the same amount of active supporters riding with him every day. Fame sticks around, but active fans, that number can drop real quick. This whole situation feels like Adin is gearing up for a major shift, and that makes his next move even crazier to watch. The whole situation ties right back into this wild clipping culture taking over the internet right now. It's a whole ecosystem built around grabbing moments, flipping them, and blasting them everywhere for views. I could break it down on another day, but honestly, it's such a deep topic that explaining all of it would take forever. But here's the important part. Kick straight up pays incentives to clippers to pump out content with the Kick logo slapped on everything. It's smart from a business angle because it spreads their creators all over the timeline like wildfire. And in the middle of this, Adin starts talking about his KCIP or KPP, which seem to be basically the same thing, the Kick Partner Program or Kick Creator Incentive Program. The KCIP is where Kick pays streamers based on two things: how many hours they stream and the viewership they hold while they're live. Sounds great in theory, right? But Adin is saying his payout is looking spooky right now, so sketchy that he's starting to think he might have to jump back to Twitch just to make real money. And it makes sense because if Adin went on Twitch and pulled even 30 to 50,000 viewers, or even just 30 to 40K consistently, the bag he'd secure from ads alone would be massive. Twitch rains ads nonstop, and there is zero ad system on Kick. I've been saying this forever. Where do people think Kick gets the money to fund this whole KPP system? This was always going to be a temporary setup, not some endless money fountain. Then you've got Kick Champ, the legendary Chaos account tied to Academics TV, jumping into the situation too. Those two are like running two different worlds at once, but somehow they make it work and stir up drama in both lanes. Kick Champ even posted about this, saying Kick pays Clippers to hype up their payout program using boosted payouts to make other creators believe they actually pay well. That right there tells you everything. It's not just about payouts, it's about image, hype, and making it look like the money is flowing heavy, even when the reality might be way different. What makes this whole thing even crazier is that the same account calling it out now was the one hyping it up back when Adin was flexing wild numbers. There was a moment where Adin was bragging like, yo, I just made 250,000 off one stream, maybe two. And I remember looking at that like something wasn't adding up at all. It felt way too inflated to be real. Then you look at this post, presenting bounty number 43, 3,000 per million views, and it spells everything out. Post the clip below, expires Thursday, November 6th. That means a creator pulls 3,000 per 1 million views, and the example bounty is literally caption, Asmon Gold reveals his Twitch and Kick earnings for October. Mention Asmon Gold and his Kick earnings video attached below. So basically, Kick is tossing out these boosted payouts to get people to blast their platform non-stop. It's a marketing move dressed up like a payout system, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me break down the bigger picture. When Kick brought Adin Ross on board at the start, the whole platform felt like a free-for-all. Adin could say anything, do anything, stream anything, and Kick let it rock because they needed eyes on the site fast. I said back then this wouldn't last, and eventually they'd tighten everything up, and that's exactly what's happening now. Kick was also bragging about giving 100% of subscriber revenue straight to the streamer. On Twitch, that's nowhere near normal. Most creators get a 50-50 split, and only some lucky ones get a 70-30 deal. And subs on Twitch cost like $5 to $6, plus a ton of people use Twitch Prime to sub for free because they already have Amazon Prime. But here's the thing.
That is crazy. I'm sorry. Like, they literally straight up said, unless you're on stake, we're lowering. Dude, I'm not joking. Collab made like $30, bro. It's cooked. Oh God, it's cooked. If you're not on stake.com, they lower your. I'm sorry. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, bro. That is so bad, bro. That's so bad. That's so bad. It's so bad. Nah, hell no, we doing rain bet. You know what? Yo, that's why John said, hey, I'll pay for your Clippers. Whatever you miss it, I got you, bro. Like, whatever. So that's what, if I go to Twitch, they'll pay for my Clippers on rain bet, basically. But bro, I ain't gonna lie, chat, that is crazy, bro.
Twitch Prime is free for the user, not for the company. Twitch actually loses money on those Prime subs, which is why it's such a big deal. Now compare that to Kick. They don't have anything like Prime, nothing bundled, nothing offsetting these costs. So Kick offering full subscriber revenue right out the gate was wild because they weren't keeping anything for themselves. And that leads to the real question. How the hell is Kick making money? The truth is simple. They weren't. They were operating like a giant promo campaign, bleeding money just to get creators and viewers locked in. But when a platform runs like that, eventually they gotta tighten things up. And that's exactly what they did next. They started tightening the reins on what creators could say, how they could stream, and how loosely everything was being run. Once the hype wave settled, they had to switch from do whatever to hold up, we need structure now. And that shift is where everything started getting real messy. Kick had to start tightening up what creators can do on the platform because they want to stay in the app stores and keep everything compliant. That part makes sense, and honestly, everyone saw it coming. And of course, certain creators get treated better than others. Adin Ross, being basically a star partner, was always going to get more flexibility and special treatment than smaller streamers. Then Kick started throwing exclusive deals around, basically telling creators, hey, stream only on Kick so we can grow the platform. That was their whole plan at first, lock down big names and hope the audience follows. But that phase ended fast. Suddenly, no more exclusive deals, because the growth didn't hit the level they expected. So now where do they go? They start pushing multi-streaming heavy, trying to get creators live on Kick and everywhere else at the same time. After that, they launched the KPP, the Kick Partner Program, to lure in smaller creators. They started telling people with 80 to 100 viewers that they could actually make a living on Kick. Basically, come over here, the bag is waiting, so they could flood the platform with content and keep the site moving 24/7. And to be fair, Kick actually did numbers overseas, in the Middle East, in Japan, in South America. They pulled off some surprisingly big events. I remember watching this crazy boxing event on Kick right before one of Adin Ross's shows, and the whole thing was blowing up with viewers. One of the fighters was literally wearing a sheet over his head like Casper with sunglasses on. It was wild but entertaining, and the numbers were huge. Kick used those moments to advertise hard and convince creators that people were getting paid massive amounts. They wanted everyone to believe the money was free-flowing and the payouts were real. But the same question kept popping up every time. Where is the money actually coming from? I kept saying this from day one. You can't run a platform paying out massive incentives, full subscriber revenue, boosted payouts, and marketing bonuses forever when you don't have a real monetization system set up. At some point, the cash stops stretching and Kick hits the wall. And now, everything they're doing shows that moment has finally arrived. Kick isn't making money, it's burning money non-stop, and now it's finally catching up to them. The cash flow is drying up, and even XQC reacted to what Adin Ross said about it. I'll show you that clip in a second because it explains a lot. KickChamp posted saying Eddie lied, talking about Eddie Craven, the guy behind both Stake and Kick. But honestly, I don't think Eddie intentionally lied to XQC. He probably just wasn't fully aware of what was going on. Eddie is constantly bouncing between public events, Stake business, Kick business. He's not sitting there keeping track of every small KPP payout. He only steps in when it's a major contract. Then Loss, another big streamer on Kick, spoke up too. I'll play his clip as well. He called his KCIP experience a straight nightmare. And when both Loss and Adin Ross complained publicly,
I actually spoke when he said that the first time, chat. I actually spoke directly with Eddie, and he told me that this wasn't true. Yo, listen. Maybe he's rage baiting, maybe this skit. Yo, I went straight to Eddie. Why didn't snitch? I was like, bro. If you guys always KPP, that's dog. Like, don't do that.
That's a major red flag for the whole platform. Adin also mentioned a newer creator named CL. Kick brought him in to make content. This dude did 2 8-hour streams, averaged 4,000 to 7,000 viewers, even hit 8,000, and walked away with $30 total. $30. That's not just bad. That's embarrassing for a platform claiming to take care of its talent. This is exactly what people feared. Kick hyping payouts, boosting their image, acting like money is flowing heavy, but behind the scenes, creators with real viewership are getting pennies. When your biggest creators say the system is falling apart and new creators with thousands of viewers get paid like they stream to 10 people, it means something inside Kick is breaking down fast. Cheezer was the one who brought this new guy in first. That's Adin Ross's friend. Then from Cheezer, he linked with Cuffham, and after that, he ended up around Adin, Sneeko, and the rest of that circle. Now everything is blowing up at once, and honestly, it was bound to happen. I really think Adin is doing this as another attempt to push Kick into raising his payouts again. When the KPP was at its peak, he was pulling in way more money than Twitch would ever pay him. Twitch doesn't work like that at all, so now he wants those old numbers back. But he's obviously not accepting the tiny payouts he's getting right now. But the real question is, what did he expect? Adin is sponsored by Rain, and Rain is a direct competitor to Kick's real moneymaker, gambling traffic. Kick's entire revenue engine runs off gambling deals. So Adin signing with Rain and then expecting Kick to still subsidize his hourly pay is wild. On top of that, he wants Kick to front page his events, even though those events are sponsored by a company competing directly with Kick's biggest source of income. Even I gotta look at this situation and keep it real. And you already know how I feel about the whole gambling scene. I don't support any of that, but in this case, you can't say Eddie, Bijan, or anyone running Kick is wrong for pushing back. That would be straight financial sabotage. Think about it. Adin wants Kick to pay him heavy money so he can turn around and advertise for their competitor at the same time. No company on earth is gonna bankroll a creator just to help another company grow. That's basically monetary self-cooking right there. No business would allow that. Adin even said in the clip that John, the guy who runs creator coordination for Rain, is the one handling everything for their sponsored creators, so Adin is literally being managed by the team representing Kick's competitor, while expecting Kick to keep paying him the same huge checks he was getting before. The situation is messy, the alliances are messy, and the expectations don't match reality at all. Adin said, yeah, John said he would pay for my clippers if I go to Twitch, because right now, Kick is the one covering all the clipping costs for Adin Ross. And that brings us right back to the whole conversation about Adin pulling 30 to 50,000 on regular streams. I genuinely believe that during big events, he would break 100,000 easily, because once Twitch sees those numbers, they throw you on the front page immediately. But the real issue isn't just numbers, it's Adin's style, his humor, his energy, his approach. Twitch would slam him with a ban fast if he slips even a little. After being free on Kick for so long, I don't think he could hold himself back on Twitch the way their rules demand. And on top of that, Twitch's restrictions would make it harder for him to collaborate with the people he actually likes working with. That alone might be more of a deal breaker than the money. Because honestly, Adin doesn't really make decisions based on money. Brand risk isn't some massive profit machine. He's probably breaking even or even losing money at most events. He does it because he likes the chaos, the spotlight, the energy. Not because it fills his pockets? And Kick? Man, I'm shocked they've lasted this long. I wish them success as a platform because competition is good for the whole streaming world. But the way their system works right now still doesn't look like something that can survive long term. They're spending more than they're making, and eventually that catches up. Some people throw out the argument, but Twitch loses money too. And that's true. Twitch hasn't been consistently profitable either. Amazon bought it and basically keeps it running even through losses. People always say write off like it's magic, but that's not how it actually works. Still, Amazon can absorb those losses way easier than a platform like Kick ever could. The difference is Twitch has stable revenue streams. Advertisers know exactly what they're paying for. Streamers know what they're earning. The money flow is predictable with Kick's K, CIP, and KPP. Everything is inconsistent and constantly shifting. One month looks great, the next month looks terrible, and creators don't know what to expect. So, tell me what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next one.